You might assume, like I once did, that slow living is just another trendy term you hear on TikTok. A subject of commodification in the same way self-care has become. There's a sort of romanticizing of it that portrays a lifestyle or a way of being that feels accessible to only a privileged few. For example, you can't wear what you own. You must wear natural materials like linen dresses, vintage aprons, and cozy wool sweaters. Rather than the true principles of slow living, which you'll soon discover in this video, are principles you conclude yourself. Slow living has become a buzzword associated with an aesthetic of earth tones, linens, macrame, and extreme minimalism, peddling merchandise and unnecessary goods by influencers, turning our burnout and overwhelm into a tireless cash grab. As a busy single mom with ADHD, raising 2 neurodivergent children, and a primary caregiver, not to just them, but our 2 senior dogs too, I've been gradually making the transition to a slower, more intentional life, mostly out of necessity. So if you've been yearning for a slower life too, I want to remind you that you don't need to live off-grid in a cottage. You don't need to quit your 9-to-5 job, sell all of your belongings, and you don't even need to know how to make sourdough starter from scratch. Of course, unless you want to. In today's video, I want to give you a realistic look at how a divorced neurodivergent mom of 2 is learning to live slow, tune out the noise, and gently come home to myself. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 9 things that I have gradually been doing over the course of a year, and in some cases many years, to help me slow down and live a life with deeper intention and alignment. Hello everyone, I'm Krista, and this is The Slow Creative, a space where I share tips, tools, and everything I'm learning to help me slow down and live a more intentional life. So if you are new here, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back to the channel. Number 1. Be realistic and avoid comparison. Just remember that most of the things that you consume online has been curated, including the content that you see on this channel. So nothing is truly real. You are watching somebody's highlight reel. So it's really important to remember that you're seeing somebody's idealized version of themselves and of their life. So no matter where you're at on this journey, we are all starting from a different starting place, and we are all in different seasons of life. For example, we all have different financial needs and goals and limitations. You might have a chronic illness. Maybe you have aging parents or children like I do, and you are caregiving, and that eats up a lot of your time. So don't compare your starting place to somebody else's middle or somebody else's 3/4 of the way there. If you're a mom like me with kids or aging parents or a chronic illness, and you're comparing yourself to somebody who has no kids, no spouse, and doesn't have all of the additional stress and responsibilities that you have, then you're setting yourself up for failure and disappointment before you even begin. I think we've all been victims to the trap of believing that somebody's romanticized ideal life is real life. And I'm not saying that when you see somebody with a slow, calm, beautiful life that it isn't real. Aspects of it are real, but you're not getting the full picture, and context is really important. So if you want to remain happy and you want to create a new life, just remember that what you're seeing online isn't always the full picture. So the next one is to start small. I think one of the things is that we feel like we have to do everything, and if we don't, we fail on some level. But as I was creating this video and I was writing out the script, thinking of all the things that I did, I didn't make all of these enormous changes all in one fell sweep. It was gradual, slow changes. And as I create this video, I'm definitely not coming to you as a guru who has been through it, has lived it, and now I can share this knowledge with you as if I've mastered it. I'm a student in the trenches, still figuring this out as I go along the way. But some of the smaller shifts that I made that I noticed have made a huge difference in how I feel and how it affects people in my life, namely my kids, is one, just putting my phone down, unplugging from screens a little more, and being present in the moment. There is so much beauty in the mundane, in the things that surround us. I think a lot of us spend so much time focused on the future and thinking about the next thing that we have to do or where we want to be, or stuck in anxiety thinking about the past, that we completely neglect the moment that we're in and we miss out on so many amazing experiences. I truly believe that joy lives in the present moment. It lives in the here and now. So I remember when my kids, they would ask me, "Mom, can you sit and play a game with us or watch a show?" And I would sit down and I would watch a show with them, or I'd play a game, but my mind was always somewhere else. I was focused on the dishes left in the sink, the laundry that needs to be folded and put away. I was looking at my phone, seeing if I had emails or if anyone sent me a text message. So I was never really present. I was just distracted and pulled in so many different ways. So one of the things that I make a conscious effort to do now is, if I'm sitting and I'm watching a show with my kids, my phone is off. I'm there for the full episode. We are laughing together. We are invested in the characters. We're invested in the plot. We're enjoying this moment together. If I play games with my kids, it's the same thing. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not up and about doing other things. I'm present in the moment with them. And that connection that you have with someone, whether it's kids, your spouse, your animals, your parents, your friends, whoever it is, just giving somebody the gift of your full presence, it is the thing that people will remember about you the most. And these are the moments that truly matter. You can start small in so many ways, whether it is going out on a walk in nature and taking your earbuds out and just walking quietly and noticing the glistening sparkle of the snow on the leaves, or paying attention to the sounds that you hear, the birds singing and the birds chirping in the background. Choosing to eat your dinner at the table without any distractions and just focusing on the food that's nourishing your body. It doesn't have to be these big grand gestures. I think it's the smaller ones that we start to build up on over time that lead to the biggest transformation and changes. Pick one thing that you can do today, that you can start now, to help you shift into a slower, more intentional way of being. Start to embody the person you want to become and the life you want to live now. Don't wait. The next one is, what does slow living mean for you, and why do you want to slow down? What is the impact that it's going to have on your life? I feel like slow living has become this stereotype where there's this cottage core aesthetic and you're living off grid, and it feels very privileged and unattainable for most of us. Like, there's these drastic changes that need to happen in your life, and if they don't, then you are a victim to this hurried, fast-paced hustle culture. You're just doomed to this life. So get really clear about what slow living actually means for you, and what would a slower life look like in the current capacity that you have and in the season of your life that you're in. Not all of us can quit our jobs. Not all of us can sell all of our belongings. Not all of us want to do those things. So get really clear about why this is important for you and what it would mean if you actually slowed down and started to live with more intention. For me, living slower and more intentionally is about reducing the distractions in my life so that I can hear my inner thoughts. I can tune in with what feels right for me, and I can really focus more on the things that matter. And another big thing is just being more conscious about where my time, energy, my thoughts, and my money are going. So really having an awareness and starting to pay attention to what that looks like. And then making a conscious choice to do things differently, or to eliminate things that aren't working in your life, or to just make tiny shifts that are going to help you get back into alignment with the life that you want to live. Okay, so the fourth one is to have one slow, simple daily ritual to anchor you. Daily rhythms signal safety for our nervous system. This could truly be as simple as having a daily walk in nature, walking without your headphones and paying attention to the beauty that surrounds you. It could be protecting 5 minutes in the morning so that you have your morning coffee and you sit quietly by the window and reflect on your thoughts. It could be a morning or a nightly journaling practice, something that you do before bed to help you slow down and wind down. It could be a really nourishing self-care practice. It doesn't matter what it is, but have something that you do daily that becomes the thing that grounds you every day. So if you've had a really chaotic day, you can always return to this ritual to feel centered and grounded and to get you back on track sooner. One of my current favorite daily rituals that we have is we end the night with connection. So it changes all of the time, but right now we've just finished up a series, Canada's Top Junior Chef or something it was called, on Netflix. We had so much fun trying to figure out who was going to be the winner, having our favorites. It was just a really nice way to spend time together. Another one that we like to do is play games. My kids are really into charades, or right now they love Super Mario Life, the board game. Or another one that we love to do is spend the last 30 minutes to an hour before bed doing something creative together. Lately, it's been drawing, where we sit together at the table and we usually find a YouTube video and follow the drawing tutorial, or we will just make up our own theme and then we each have to draw it. So having this daily ritual of connection has more benefits, not just for myself, but for my kids too. It's a time that I hope when they get older, they remember us sitting together, laughing, and just being fully immersed in something together and not worrying about any outcomes, just enjoying that time as a family. So the fifth thing that I did was I adopted a conscious mindset. A lot of times when we think about slow living, it's a lot about making conscious consumer choices, like choosing to buy things that are more sustainably made or locally made and ethically made and all of those things, which I think are amazing. But I think the conscious mindset goes beyond just having a conscious view of consumerism. So for example, if you're bringing something into your home, consciously thinking about the care that goes with that item, how long you will have to maintain it for, the cost of maintaining it, the cost of having to store it somewhere, finding a place for it to live in your home, and just looking at your life through a more conscious lens. Pay attention to your surroundings. How do you feel in your space? How do certain environments make you feel? How do certain friendships or family members make you feel? You know, if you leave relationships and you're always feeling negative and bitter and drained, I'm not saying delete everybody from your life, but maybe it means setting some boundaries for yourself and making those boundaries clear for the people in your life as well. Okay, the next one that I do, and I absolutely love this one, is to slow down your thoughts. And I think truly one of the best ways to do this is to put down your phone and have less screen time. We are constantly bombarded by noise, visual noise. The stimulation of the outside world can be a lot, especially on a very sensitive nervous system. If you are neurodivergent or highly sensitive, when we're constantly taking in all of these different inputs, constantly consuming, constantly listening to things, constantly navigating just the day-to-day chaos of existing in a society, it can be a lot, and it can be really hard to tune into your own thoughts and to know what's authentic for me. So one of the things that I've been doing recently that I love is going more analog where I can in my life. Rather than relying on digital apps to help me plan out my day and my weeks, I just write everything out in my planner. And something else that I've been doing now is I'm actually reading my script here. I've got my script. I'm not reading a script. I just have notes about what I want to talk about. But this is for this video in particular. One of the things that I used to do is I would write my scripts on the computer. I would do the voice to text dictation, and I would tell ChatGPT, here's the video idea. Here are the topics and the points that I want to hit on. Here's the story that I have relevant to it. Put it all together in a script for me. And it just seemed like a quick and efficient way to do it because I do have such limited time for growing my YouTube channel and creating videos. But what I found is that it was kind of making me dumb. Like I couldn't write anything anymore without going to ChatGPT first. And I was feeling extremely frustrated. And it was collapsing my creativity in a way that kind of was starting to scare me a little bit. I was like, okay, something needs to change. This isn't working for me. What I started to do, the last couple of videos, I've literally taken out my journal. I have about 7 or 8 pages here in my journal. I just write everything out. I get all of the notes out of my head. I write out the intro, the voiceover that you heard at the beginning. It's all here word for word in my journal. And then I just recorded it. And by putting pen to paper, triggered this influx of creative ideas and inspiration. And it felt incredible. When we're on our computer all the time and we're always relying on apps and things to do all of the work for us, yes, there is benefit to doing that, but don't allow it to compromise on your creativity. Rely on the apps, things like ChatGPT, to help you with all of the mundane tasks that you don't enjoy doing. But when it comes to your authenticity, your voice, your creative expression, those are the things that you really want to protect. So going analog has been huge in helping me get back to that place. And another thing that I've been doing is just really trying to reduce the noise throughout my day. So when I drive to school to pick up my kids, I'm in the car for a good half an hour a day alone. And a lot of times I wanted to fill that time. I wanted to listen to an audiobook or a podcast. So I would listen to that in the background, always filling my time time with like consuming something. I didn't realize how overstimulating it was until I stopped doing it. Now I make a conscious choice when I'm driving in my car to not listen to anything, to just drive in silence, pay attention to the road. I saw an eagle one day leaving a telephone pole, things like that I probably wouldn't have noticed if I was being distracted by a podcast or something that I was listening to. Okay, so the next one is to opt in and opt out of whatever you want. I prefer to opt out of a lot of things. Make a list of what a typical day looks like in your life now. What does a typical week or a weekend look like in your life now? Review it with a very critical lens and ask yourself, with as much discernment as you can, does this feed into the life that I'm trying to create for myself? It's okay to say no and opt out of it. And what I'm really talking about here is when I think about slow living, one of the things that comes to mind for me, a stereotype, is like extreme minimalism. I have seen homes that are extremely minimalist, and for me, they just lack personality. They are devoid of warmth. They are devoid of any remnants of a human being. And for some people, it works well for their life and it creates a lot of calm and peace. For me, it takes me further away from the life that I want to live. So I just opt out of the notion that I need to have an extreme minimalist life in order to live slower and more intentionally. So what can you opt out of? And what would you like to opt into to help you be in deeper alignment with the life that you want to live? The eighth thing that I've been doing is just simplifying. The first thing is I've simplified our schedule. So I schedule less, not more. There was a time when my kids were younger, and I remember we were at so many different appointments. I have a child on the autism spectrum, so we were going to speech pathologists, psychologists, occupational therapists. My kids were enrolled in all kinds of extracurricular activities, and life felt so chaotic. And not only did I experience severe burnout, so did my daughter as well. And I remember at the height of it all, when we were all really stressed out, our nervous systems were just fried. We just canceled everything. And the amount of time that had freed up in our schedule was amazing. And it really started to help us heal from burnout and then start to really hone in on what is really important to us. Why are my kids in so many extracurricular activities? And what I realized is that a lot of it came down to me feeling the pressure to keep up with what everybody else was doing and to have my kids to excel in all of these activities so that they wouldn't be left behind. So one of the first things that I did was just eliminated so many things off of our calendar so that we just have much more spaciousness in our week. And one of the things that I really noticed too is when I have an overly full schedule, like if I've been working all day and then I'm running errands and then I'm going to pick up my kids, I am much more hyper reactive and irritable when I have had no spaciousness in my day or in my weeks or in my weekend. When I haven't had any downtime to just relax and recharge my batteries, I am really not fit for anybody. And I think the same is true for our kids as well. Another area that I've really simplified and I've talked a lot about on the channel is simplifying your space and making your home as calm as you can to really help reduce a lot of the chaos that we're experiencing in our day-to-day life outside of our homes. Society is hurried, it's busy, there's a lot of comparison, there's a lot of things that are tugging for our attention and diverting us away from things that we truly care about. But I really in my heart believe that our home is our safety, it's our nest, the place that we can come home to feel safe, to recharge, to get back in touch with ourselves when we're feeling distracted and lost. So doing small things to simplify your space, whether it's reducing the amount of stuff that you have, or maybe it's coming up with simple systems in your home to make your day-to-day life easier and less chaotic. When I think about the simplicity of our home, it's truly the systems that I rely on to keep things running smoothly and to help reduce on all of the micro decisions that I have to make in a day. So the last one that I have for you, and I think this is the most important, is to have self-compassion. Overwhelm hits differently for people with ADHD. There's an intensity to it. There's a frequency to it. Everything about the world and our lives is overstimulating and feels like too much. Everything feels overwhelming. Things that are often easy for others are often a challenge and very difficult for people with neurodivergent brains. Just remember that whether you have ADHD or autism or some other neurodivergence, it just makes living life a little harder. It is a disability after all. Focus on making tiny, small shifts that feel doable and manageable without overwhelming yourself, and know that slowing down and living more intentionally is possible for you too. What has helped you slow down and live with more intention? Or if you're still trying to make that transition, what's the thing that stops you the most? Please share in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next week.